What is one useless skill that you have?
Um, useless skill. Useless skill. I can. Oh my god! I don't know. I don't know. No, I can't think of anything. I can honestly like if it's not really useless, but if you hand me a phone, I can basically master it within like 3 to 4 minutes because everything is literally the same, basically. So I guess that might be one of my useless skills, or um, stuff with music, just like understanding different genres of music and stuff, and just
Okay.
useless information, especially about '90s music. And I know basically the name of any actor if I see them once, actor or actress, I will name them. I think you can attest to that. Like I know a lot of celebrity names. It's not a useful skill at all.
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree to that.
It's not useful at all.
Well, skills are only useless until they're not. Like a lot of the, well, I have a lot of quote unquote useless information. Um, just but it's only but like
It
come trivia
matters.
night, you want me on your team.
It pays off. It really
You
pays
want
off.
me on your team. Like it was we were talking about something and I was explaining, I said, yeah, because you can quiver, or it could be a quiver for arrows. And my sister was like, why do you even know that? And I was just like,
Why
because it's good
not?
to know information. But then also, like, you want me. And then that's when my other brother in law was like, yeah, but when we do trivia night, I'm definitely going to be on your team. Just like, because
Why
there's a
not?
lot of trivia that you know, and you want that person on your team just yelling out stuff.
Yeah, you want the person who's just gonna yell out whatever they know right away.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You want to win, I would think. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Take Up Space Podcast. I'm your host, Leah, and I'm joined this week by my co star,
He's
Jason.
back. He's back. He's back. He's back.
Yeah, we took a little bit of a week hiatus, need a mental break just for the space to just kind of exist and experience things as they are.
And visit my
Because
mommy.
how was your visit with mom?
It was actually a lot less, um, more relaxing than I expected it would be. If I'm being honest, sorry, Mama, if you're listening. Sorry, Mama. But no, it was literally probably like it was a really good reset. I didn't realize how stressed I was being in my regular living environment, and so I was just there. I was able to take care of my mom and stuff. I was able to make her all the little random things that I make all the time. Like I made her granola because she hasn't been able to eat granola because she's has a wheat allergy. So I made
Mm-hmm.
her some really good granola that she's still raving over, and I won't give her the recipe for it because I need to have my way into the wheel somehow. Um, but yeah, just basically being able to sort of exist with just me and her, it was it was nice. It was nice, and it was interesting because going into it, I was sort of unsure if I was gonna go because out of the three of us, me and my brothers, I'm the only one who hasn't like lived with my mom just while the other ones are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I left for Sac State, Jordan lived at home with my mom alone. Then my older brother lived with my mom alone for a few years while we were all gone. This is the first time, like a week, my stepdad out of town. It was just me and her, and nobody broke in.
Oh,
It was nice. It was a good reset. So, yeah,
it's good
I
to be
like.
able to have like those safe places to go back to because it's like it's something like so secure, so stable, so comforting that
Mhm.
just brings you back to where it's like you,
Like I'm good. I'm okay.
yeah,
Like okay,
like your
everything.
inner child is relaxed, you're
Hmm.
relaxed, and it's like, you know
Hmm.
what, this is whether I get stuff done or not, like this is good. Like I'm
Yeah,
great.
yeah. It was a really, really good reset for me, and now I'm
That's
back in
good.
Sacramento. How was your mental break? I guess. No, that sounds like you snapped or something. That was your mental pause.
Yeah, I
That
heard
was
you
your
had a mental
pause.
breakdown. How was that?
Let me tell you.
um, no, I took a minute to kind of figure out where I was, and I realized that I was so busy um trying to articulate my thoughts and feelings instead of just like feeling those thoughts and feelings.
Mhm.
Um or even like figuring out which thoughts, like sorting out my thoughts. So I spent the time decompressing from all the things, from moving here to getting speaking engagements to networking with different people, going to so many different events. I don't know if you all saw, but if you all are in the Seattle area, your girl's picture is on the Friends of Waterfront Instagram page, and I was like, I was out there getting it.
I didn't know that.
Uh, yeah, with Ade Fua is the dance company, and they're the Susu people who come and teach it like a couple times a month. And yes, I was out there. It was a lot of fun. I
Is
really
that the one
enjoyed
where
it.
we're dancing?
Hmm.
Okay.
So they have
Yes.
two. So they have one with me in yellow and then one with me in white. And I was
Okay.
just like, hey.
All right.
Seattle has absolutely brought the me out of me. And while some people are just like, I don't even know why you like it here, I am having the time of my life.
That
And
always kills me about like locations. Sorry, not to
mhm.
interrupt you, but
Oh,
to
no,
interrupt you for a
absolutely.
second. That always kills me about locations where people are like, "Are you sure? Oh, I hated that city. Oh, it rained so much." It's and just saying all these different things about different places. When in
Hmm.
reality, like for me, a beach is not like a hot beach like Jamaica type thing. That's
Hmm.
not my ideal vacation personally because it just doesn't butter my bread, if you will. I don't think anybody's ever said that, but they did today. But
Those butter biscuits, you know.
right, doesn't butter my no butter my biscuit sounds really that doesn't sound okay. That that
Like
sounds
I've heard burn my biscuits more than butter my biscuits, but yeah.
yeah, that sounds like you're gonna get flagged if you say that doesn't butter my biscuit. but but yeah, it doesn't make sense to me when people sort of talk about like all the negative things that they see in something,
Hmm.
almost in a way to and maybe that's not their intention, but it's almost in a way that it can discourage somebody from a specific place. For you with
Absolutely.
Seattle, it's always been with everywhere that you moved. I think the only place that you moved that really gave me pause was Virginia. Like that one concerned me, and I think that was the one place where I voiced a lot of concerns.
Yeah.
Because it's Virginia. If anybody has a problem with that, I'm sorry, but
He's not sorry. He's not
I'm
sorry though.
not. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. But to voice like so many negative things, like you always saw something positive in Seattle. And I think that was one of the reasons why all of your moves always sort of made sense to me because there was something that you saw there that you would get from it.
Hmm.
But Seattle, that one is like at plus 1,000%. So
Yes.
you're making it work. It looks good on you.
Thank you.
Now
I
what are we?
really it's I had been working really hard to articulate the best things about Seattle and the best things about, because it's not just Seattle, but it's me in Seattle.
Yeah,
And whether it's me
it's
walking to
your
the
experience there.
pier or checking out downtown, catching public transportation, or going to different events, things like that, networking with different people, being out and
Yeah,
about, socializing, making friends, whether, because I met a few ladies from Bumble, and that was pretty cool because Bumble BFF is, you got to weed through some people, but if you're direct enough, you'll be able to actually meet some really cool people, which I did. So it was it was absolutely just one thing after another after I made the decision to be open enough to have the experience, good, bad, or indifferent.
hmm
And I just I think that, this past week I needed that break to stop trying to articulate everything
hmm
and just feel how it is, just bask in what it is. And so, but I wanted to kind of touch on what you talked about that negativity can poison the best dreams.
Yeah.
Like the most amazing things that we can ever think in this life will absolutely be poisoned by drops of negative thoughts. What do you mean you're doing that? Nobody else did that before. That's not going to make you money. That's not going to keep you stable. That's not going to do this. Da, 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 da.
Hmm.
Well, when I went, I met this person, and this person ruined my life. Or I would never do this because this field doesn't treat black people this way. So
Hmm.
you can't do this because you're black, and this field is never going to change. Or you can't vote for this person, or you can't move to that city, or you can't do. And all these people are talking about things um, that they don't know about. Like it's the same kind of concept of being in a being in a healthy relationship and getting negative feedback from single people.
Hmm.
Like it will frustrate you and it'll make you question why do anything at all.
Hmm.
Because misery loves company, but that poison of just it's going to be bad, or when they're
Yep.
going to do something to you, and so you're always,
The pessimism, cynicism, that kind of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
you're always looking for like for example, for me, when I started dating, it was I had to I kid you not, as I am getting older, I realize not everybody needs to know everything. It's fun to be open and talk about things, blah blah blah, but not everybody needs to know everything.
It's a beautiful thing to realize.
Yeah. But I think what made me take that a step further is that as I talk about the good things that are happening in my life, especially when I started dating,
Hmm.
it was there are certain people I'm just not going to be able to bring this up to talk to. I'm just not.
It's a know your audience situation.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
that's no that's no dig at anyone in particular who's not that audience, but you know what you need from interactions when you bring that information up to people,
Hmm.
and you know who's gonna give you that what you need from it versus people that are going to like you said, poison the well
Yeah.
or plant those seeds.
Because if I'm genuinely happy about something, right, whether I'm dating, get a new job in a new area, whatever the case, if your response is not like, oh, like I don't expect like yes men
Right.
or yes people. I'm like, but I do, if you're my friend, I would expect you to be happy with me.
Hmm.
You don't have to be at my same level, right? I understand that everybody expresses happiness in a different way. You
Right.
don't have to be on my same level, but just be happy for me. Oh man, I'm glad to hear that. Instead of, well, are you sure he's just not with you for X? Are you sure they didn't just hire you for affirmative action? Are you sure that when you move there, you're going to have everything you need?
These are all things that I personally said to Leah. I wrote her a letter actually and sent it certified mail so that she could keep it and have to sign for it.
Oh my gosh.
These are all from this horse's mouth.
We would have a very different relationship. Let me tell you that.
Do you
Oh,
think
let
we
me
would
tell
be
you
in this
that.
ocean right now if that were the
We
case?
we would have a very, very different
Can you
relationship.
imagine?
Oh my
Like,
gosh, no.
I can't imagine it. Like, and I can understand where some of those, some of those opinions may come from in certain
Mhm.
situations when that information comes up, but it goes back to, again, know your audience so that you can understand how to present those, if you think they're logical questions, I guess, like present your curiosity to them without making it
Mhm.
seem like you're trying to cut them down, right?
From their side or from the receiving end?
Not the receiving end. That's not your job to make them to make sense
I
of
was
what you're
I
trying to
was
say.
gonna
I'm
say, I was
saying
like, you gotta make it clear.
no. I'm saying that the person who has the questions, who has the concerns and stuff, there's a way
Right.
that you can bring that information up to the person.
Mhm.
Like when my brother said that he was getting married, I knew in my mind it didn't make sense to me, but I knew that knowing who he is, however I reacted to it, then I know that that could have even either pushed him away further. I knew that I needed to gather myself so that I could articulate the questions better.
Hmm.
Um, but I guess not to cut people down, but some people just don't have those that emotional intelligence to take a step back from a situation that doesn't make sense to them and
Right.
be, even if you're not gung-ho about a situation, be neutral in the moment, where it's like, oh, I'm dating somebody and this is what they're like. Can't just be like, oh, I'm glad to hear that for you. Maybe you are glad to hear that for them, but maybe take a step back and then in a few weeks be like, hey, I was wondering, can you tell me more about XYZ? As opposed to, what if he's only with you for X? Or why are you taking that job? Black people don't do that. Why
Yeah.
are you becoming an English major? Or that's not going to pay you. That may be true.
Stop talking to me from your insecurities. Stop
But
doing that.
right, like
Oh,
understand that if you're pursuing something, if you're bringing it up to them, clearly there's some sense of passion there. Not like lust passion, not like anything like that, but there's a passion there. There's a connection to
right.
whatever they're presenting to you that if you don't react in a certain way, or if you don't not even the reacting, but if you don't yeah, react in a certain way, there's a chance that you could cut them down and find yourself on the outskirts of the circle.
Right. How come you didn't tell me that you got a promotion? How come you didn't tell me that you're
Well,
getting married? How come you
when
didn't
I
tell me
got
that you were
this
pregnant?
job, when I started dating this
Uh,
person, when I told you that we were thinking about starting a family,
right.
this is how you reacted, right?
And there's, will you never tell me any? Why would I tell you anything?
Because
But
when I told you that I got this, you did this.
and I get it. I try, I try to do my best. I try to do my best to understand people where they are because sometimes people have very legitimate concerns.
Yeah,
They do. They have very legitimate concerns and questions that they need to ask because or questions that they ask that maybe I didn't think about, right?
right. That may help
But
them understand the situation and
right, but
support
I
you better.
think the like okay, so when I started dating, I had to learn very quickly cut out some people, like stop talking about it with some people because when I started talking with some people, the first thing, not these, now these are not family members, right? These are not
Just to
family
make that
members.
clear. Just to make that
Um
clear.
yes, because my family, I love my family. They have been so supportive. Like you, they don't understand all the moves that I make, but they have been supportive throughout where they have been like, listen, I think she's got it. I think she's good.
Yeah.
But some people who I was like, oh yeah, we're friends or whatever, but like when I started dating, it was like all these, they held up their moral compass to me
Mhm.
and said, um are you are you intimate? Are you smashing? Are you doing this? Blah blah blah. Are you kissing on the first date? Da 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 da. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm not having this conversation with you.
These
And
aren't even
then
questions I would ask somebody like, okay, go on. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
but you're also a guy. So then and then there
Mhm.
were other questions that came after of, you know, make sure that he's not using you for your money, or make sure that you're protecting yourself and doing this and doing that, blah blah blah, which honestly for a couple days made me wall all the way up,
Mhm.
where not just with them but like in my dating life where I'm just like, maybe I should do more to protect myself, maybe I
Yeah,
should do
just
more
sensors
to,
up and sentries up.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I realized I was living out their fear,
Mhm.
where that's when I was like, nope, I can't talk to you about this because I would rather not make this person pay for any mistakes that occurred in your life,
Hmm.
because we're living different lives. And when we talk about poisoning the well, it's just little thoughts like that of, um, make sure that he's not using you for your money. Okay, so does that mean you don't split the bill? Does that mean you force this other person to pay for you, or you only go out if they're spending money, or if you're doing things blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Um, there's a there was a lot of things where I had to really pull back and just like, okay, what do I want out of my relationship? Am I getting that? Not based on what somebody else's moral compass says or what somebody else's needs are or what they think a relationship should be. Because, truth be told, not everyone was
So
married. But it's just like, but I
quiet
think
as it's
that,
kept.
it's important to be mentally, emotionally strong enough because I think one of the things that I had to rethink was they're telling me that he would only be with me for this thing.
Hmm.
So that means I'm not worthy of a healthy long term relationship.
Hmm.
I'm not good enough as me. Because if I didn't have X, he wouldn't be here, right? According to their logic.
Hmm.
But because I have this, he's only with me because of that thing. And so it really started to mess with me where I'm just like, okay, so if that's not true, that I'm a whole person and I have a lot more to offer than just one or two things or whatever,
Hmm.
then obviously the rest of their stuff I can't listen to at all.
Mm.
Because when people tell, oh, oh, they're only doing this or they only, so are you saying that this person, just like with you, oh, you're not going to make any money, black people don't go into English, or you're going to be broke, are you saying that I'm not good enough or that I don't have the wherewithal to make good decisions to make sure that I can put myself in a stable, secure position
Right.
to work a profession,
It works for me.
yes, that would benefit my life and those that I impact.
Hmm.
So I wish people would be more careful with their words, but they're so haphazard about the way that they just come across to just they want to get out such negative things. Oh, why would you? Oh, it rains so much in Seattle. Why would you ever want to live there? It rains everywhere.
Have you been? Have you
Oh my
personally
gosh! And
been?
have you been to Seattle? Well, no. Or one one person. Lord help me. One person said, "Why would you move to Seattle? The depression rate there is really high." I said, "Why? Why would the?" I said, "Where'd you get that information from?" Oh, somebody who I know moved there, and that's what they told me. Have you ever been? No. Okay.
I mean, quiet as it's kept.
Okay.
The depression rate within this space right here is basically at 100%, 90% most days. So no matter where I go, that's going to follow me to some degree, right?
Right, right, right.
So it's not going to make that much of a difference for me if I move to Seattle, if I move to Jamaica, if I move to Bermuda. It's going to be pretty consistent. So, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't worry, I'm not depressed, you guys. Don't worry.
Not at this moment. No, we're having a good time.
Not at this moment. We're good. We're good.
No, but I get that your environment can influence you,
Right.
positive or negative, but you bring you wherever you go.
Right.
Like you absolutely bring you wherever you go. And I've always been a person who likes to go out, have a good time, be amongst the people and go do things, be outside and be next to the water and things like that. And this area has offered all of that.
Hmm.
So um it's just important, I think, for me to stay prayed up and to stay mentally and emotionally strong to combat those thoughts where people are just like, well, when they question, why do you want to do this? Or not even say why do you want to do this, but just like to essentially say you're going to fail.
Yeah, you shouldn't do this because you shouldn't do this because this is going to go wrong. This is what will go wrong. This is how it's going to go wrong. This is when it's going to go wrong.
Exactly. Like, I'm not jaded. I know that things happen, but it's 100% perspective.
Right.
It's 100% perspective because you can get upset at every little thing, like, oh man, I didn't get this job, or I didn't do this thing, or I couldn't go here, I couldn't go there.
Hmm.
But how you handle the little bit of rejection, like, for example, I had a lot of false starts, and I talked about it a little bit before, in getting into a career as a public speaking coach, a debate coach, a professional public speaker. All I've had a lot of false starts, a lot,
Hmm.
where I have been a coach for a couple of years, and then when I wanted to move up in coaching, they went into a different direction. I picked up odd jobs here and there as a judge and coach and debate, this and that and third, and ultimately, I just wasn't ready to take on that responsibility of what it entailed to be a public speaker, and I wasn't even in a stable place to be like, yes, you can consistently catch me in this area or at this thing, because I was between Texas and Virginia and Charlotte and California, back to Charlotte. But now that I'm in a more stable place, absolutely, like, people, I'm connected with people who are looking for public speakers,
Hmm.
people who are motivational speakers and want to talk about different things in career and things like that. And you can have a lot of false starts, but if you are so, um what's the word? It's not, it's similar to jaded, but I can't remember the name of the word. I can't remember the
Disenchanted.
word itself.
Is it
Huh?
disenchanted or
Is that the word I'm looking for?
it's not cynical?
Yes. So when you are extremely cynical about all of the opportunities, or you do the other thing of, you have this great idea you keep obsessing over, and
Hmm.
instead of you pursuing it, even at the smallest form, you talk yourself out of doing it,
Hmm.
because you're like, oh well, I'm not good enough to do it this way because I've had this false start, or my mother's brother did it and he
Hmm.
failed, and then but I had a cousin who did it, and then some people who were in my area did it and they didn't do it, or Rihanna already has a makeup brand, so I don't want to do makeup, or there's 1,001 YouTube videos about exercise or whatever, and I'm just not going to do it. And it's like, you can't absolutely, all those things can be true, but you can still do it and you can still
Right.
be successful. You just have to define what that success looks like. If the success for you is being able to reach 10 people on a weekly basis,
Hmm.
you've done that. Do the thing to get your 10 people. But if you're just like, well, I'm not going to do it because a million other people have done it, or because somebody in your circle is telling you that it's going to fail, I feel like you need to get a new circle, personally speaking.
I mean, if that's the case, then that's the easy fix, honestly. If you feel like the circle isn't pushing you forward,
Hmm.
then pass them up, I guess. Keep moving.
How would you leave a circle? If your circle, so say that you're going into your PhD program and the people in your circle are just like, why would you do this? You're set where you are. You have a stable job, you have this, you have that, like, you're
Hmm.
able to pay your bills. You live a decent life. Why
Hmm.
would you get a PhD? I don't think it would work because it's not going to add anything else and it's going to be more debt, blah, 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 blah. How would you go about leaving that kind of
Like
circle?
stepping back from that circle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, that's kind of hard for me to describe because there's nobody in my circle that would have that reaction, but I would anticipate that it would be me just sort of silently stepping back and just not sharing that much information from them or with them. Like I
Mm,
wouldn't go out of my way to unless they brought it up like, hey, why don't you ever talk about your PhD program with me? Then I would bring it up and be like, yeah, well, when I told you about doing it, you weren't very encouraging, or you didn't really seem like you were that supportive of it. So I just figured you didn't care to hear more about it. So it wouldn't be, for me at least, I don't necessarily go out of my way to tell people like, hey, you're cut. Goodbye. It's just I sort of compartmentalize things where I don't share certain bits of information with people if I know that I'm not going to get what I need from them. Like if they're not feeding into, if I'm sharing something with you, then it's probably so that you can reinforce with me like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Tell me more about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually when I share information with people, when I'm at that point where I need that extra boost. But if I present the information to you and you cut me down, then I know that like I don't like that house and I'm not going to revisit that house. And because they don't give the good candy on Halloween. Like they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So they give out the razor blades and stuff, and I don't need that. I'm gonna go to the other parts of the circle, the other houses that got the full size candy bars, no
What
peanuts.
if so it wouldn't be a confrontation. Well, you're not very confrontational
No,
either, but
I don't see the
um
value in confrontation, honestly. But that's a conversation.
excuse me.
Except with you,
Ex-
I confront you
excuse
all the time.
me.
You deserve confrontation. So
You don't see the benefit in confrontation?
no,
You get to nip things in the bud. Like you get to stop it dead in its tracks. It's a hard thing, but you get over it. I mean, as long as you're not, because one thing
this feels
that,
like a
especially
confrontation.
when the three of us are talking,
Mhm.
Jordan always says, "Say it and forget it, write it and regret it."
Right.
And I have always, well, not I have always. Let me not put that out there. I have
Always since the
since
beginning.
I have since paid attention to make sure that because I'm in that space more often to make
Mhm.
sure that I'm not saying anything that's going to attack a person,
Mhm.
but I do want my thoughts and feelings to be understood.
Yeah. Okay. That's where I see it more for confrontation. I always equate confrontation with conflict, and that goes back to like childhood stuff.
Mm,
Um, for me, I don't. For the most part, I can't say always actually, especially now. Ever since the student and that stuff happened this past semester, I've gotten better about clarifying things in the moment.
mhm.
So I'm good with clarification. I look at it that way, where I clarify things with people and we can move forward from there. But confrontation, I always equate that with like conflict, tension, and stuff. So yeah.
I mean,
So for me, it's more
yes,
clarification.
it could be uncomfortable. It could be, but for me, going the long way around is like texting versus having a phone call. Let's just
Mhm.
have a phone call, get out the information when you get out in the next 5, 7 minutes, and we're done.
That's
Otherwise,
that's the thing. For me, the way that I look at it, when people are confrontational, they're reactionary. So it's like, okay, you haven't taken time to gather your thoughts, you haven't taken time to figure out what your argument is. And so you're just reacting based on either what I just said or what you just read or something, as opposed to taking a step back, even if it's like for like 5 minutes or so, taking a step back and then gathering yourself and then moving forward with it.
but if it's practiced, that's what I used to be. I used to be very reactionary,
Mhm.
and even I do take the 2 minutes of just like, okay, is this going to ruin my day? Is there something I can do about it in the next 5 to 7 minutes? If I
Mhm.
can't do anything about it in the next 5 to 7 minutes, is it going to be a problem? Blah, blah, blah. How can I resolve it? Can I not resolve it? Okay, then just have your feelings to be done.
Mhm.
But just doing, learning, practicing that quick. Um, is it that I don't like what they said? Do I think they're being disrespectful? Am I
Like sort
talking
of
to them?
scanning yourself first.
Or yeah, because sometimes it would be reactionary of what you said reminded me of a bully I had when I was younger,
Mhm.
and I'm older now, so I can take you out. You don't get to talk to me
I'm
that way.
stronger. This isn't happening again.
Right. So, but now it's like I can be like, okay, well, I got the message of what you said, but I don't like the delivery. And
Hmm.
I'm able to tell you, hey, listen, I get that you're frustrated about XYZ, or you may be feeling a little negative about a situation, but the way that you're talking to me does not work for me.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be a situation like because I used to be in them, in them arguments and advice like that.
Right.
But
You
now
was
that
in
I'm
them streets,
older,
I know.
like, huh?
So you was in them streets, I know. Yeah.
I don't know why you always try to put me on the streets. But I think, especially now, it's like dealing with conflict in the corporate world.
Hmm.
I've learned to be more diplomatic about it and take the person out of it to say
Hmm.
your words are not effective in getting the message across
Mm.
to where they can understand, okay, so it's my wording. It's not me as a person. You're not attacking me. You're saying that the words that I'm using are not effective
Hmm.
because of whatever the environment is.
The
Because
context.
they can also, I mean, they can also take it as, oh, so you're stupid and you don't understand what I'm saying. And this right here,
This
this
is
right
where
here,
we turn it back on.
yeah, this is, if you want to go to toe to toe, we can absolutely do that. We can absolutely do that, sir.
So bring it back around to the circles thing. How many times? So if somebody in your circle, you present the
Mhm.
information, oh, I'm dating, talking about the person that you're dating and stuff, and they're confronting you with that kind of negative, cynical take. How many times do you, or how do you correct them? Do you correct them first, like, hey, what you're saying isn't cool. This is making me feel this way. It's making me feel whatever type of way. Do you confront them in that way and give them another shot, or do you, at this point, do you see yourself just like, okay, check, cross?
It depends on the person. So
Okay.
there's a couple different approaches that I have taken previously
Hmm.
that have worked, and it depends on the person. So a couple people I have been able to say things like, especially if I'm close to them,
Hmm.
whether it's my family, my friends, or whomever. If I'm close to them, I say, hey, I I know that I haven't been like dating and I've been in the dating world for a long time, but I haven't really been in a serious relationship.
Hmm.
And it's just kind of hard being in a serious relationship when people are saying negative things, because then that really hurts my view of my relationship and it hurts my view of myself.
Hmm.
And it makes me not want to share and in the happiness that I'm experiencing just because other people are putting on me their negative views.
Hmm.
And the couple people that I shared it with, they have absolutely did a 180 about like, oh my
They
gosh, yes, this is great. Da, 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 da,
they
da, da,
flipped
da.
it around.
Other people I have just like stopped talking about it,
Hmm.
and they're just like, well, why don't you, are you still dating? Are you still doing this? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. Also, how's it going? Well, I really don't feel comfortable talking about that.
Hmm.
Oh, are things not going well? Actually, they're going great.
And that's
But
why we're not talking about it.
your response previously just made me feel real negative about it. And I don't want to bring that up if that's something not something that you're comfortable with talking about in a positive light.
Hmm.
Well, I didn't realize. I said, yeah. I mean, I understand that, you may not understand how your words come across, but that's how it made me feel. And um, very understanding, but they stopped asking questions, which is great.
That's good.
And then the third one was more of what you would do, which is step back,
Hmm.
um, and just not engage with that person, because I'm just like, are they a decent person outside of this, or is this the thing that made me see that they're not really for me?
This is the
And
spotlight.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, so I just kind of I stepped away just to see what that would look like. They've stopped reaching out, and I stopped reaching out. So, well, I stopped reaching out to see if they would reach out. And since it was like, well, I'm the one who's always okay. Well, this is no harm, no foul. Like I'm good with letting this one go.
Clarified.
But I do a couple different things just because
Yeah.
I deal with different audiences and
There's
different
different
people.
dynamics and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. For family type thing, it would probably be more of what, for me, just sort of compartmentalizing things. Like, okay, I'm not
Mm,
going to talk with you about this. Um, yeah, there are levels to it. Certain people that, certain relationships that are more, I don't say more valuable, but yeah,
yeah.
more valuable than others, where I will do more to go out of my way to make things work around it, and then
Yeah.
reintroduce that, the whatever that news is later
Yeah.
on
Because maybe
when
you
I'm.
just have to sit with it. Like you're,
Yeah.
because a lot of people are egotistical. And
Hmm.
so if you're changing, it's like, wait, you're going to the PhD program? Where's the PhD program? Not
Hmm.
here. So then you're not going to be as available to hang out. You're not going to be, you're probably not, we're not going to be able to do the things that we're used to do or kick it how we used to kick it or whatever.
Hmm.
And because you're changing, maybe they're thinking how that's going to affect them, not
Hmm.
necessarily thinking like, oh no, this person is doing the best thing for them at this point.
Right. Well, that's a word. That's a word. That's a word. We will talk about confrontation again. I wasn't changing the subject. I just wanted to make sure we brought it back around.
No, I think that
You
having
know
the
how we
conversation,
get.
because I don't think we've had the confrontation conversation. And so,
It's the episode title, huh? Next week. Next week.
yeah. But please make sure that y'all protect your circle, protect your peace. And I know that I've reached a point in my life where I am willing to fight whomever it is, cut off whoever it is for my peace. And I have absolutely done that. And it's just, I go to bed at night so peaceful. I wake up so peaceful. I am more happy now. I've experienced joy on a more regular basis.
Hmm.
Like, protect, not just protect your energy, but really solidify the boundaries you have around your emotions, around your mental health, around your relationships, because if you don't, then any little word, any little thing can make you latch on, especially if you're an overthinker like us. It will absolutely have a domino effect on how you see yourself and how you see things.
Hmm.
So just make sure you protect that at all costs. And if something doesn't match up with whatever your truth is, if your truth is like, look, I know that I am a great cook and somebody tells you your food is nasty, you do not have to accept that.
Nope.
I do not accept that and I'm moving on. Like that's that's exactly it.
They may not like it. That's fine. I don't mean your food is nasty.
Right. Because they may be used to raisins in their potato salad and you don't make your potato salad with
Or
raisins.
avocado in their
Oh my
mac and
gosh,
cheese.
no, no, we're
Avocado
not
in their
bringing
mac
up
and
avocado
cheese.
mac and cheese anymore.
Paula
Oh,
Patton's fried chicken. Um,
I want you to know that macaroni and cheese or the avocado and macaroni haunted me for a long time.
I researched it and I wish I
No, it
hadn't.
haunted me. Like you made
It
me
was a
look it up.
darkness surrounding that.
Oh, and it oxidized. Oh no. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Take a Space Podcast. Jason, go ahead and plug your stuff.
You can find me at the brown avocado. No, my
No, you better not. You better not.
you can find me at JJ underscore Newberry, Twitter, Instagram, maybe TikTok someday. Be there for the first video drop. I don't know.
After you follow Jason, make sure you follow us at Take a Space Pod. That's Take a Space POD on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But thank you so much for following us. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Champions of Discourse or Take a Space Podcast. Just Take a Space Pod hashtag, and you'll be able to find all of the videos and see our beautiful faces. Please make sure you like and subscribe, share with a friend, and let us know in the comments, like, how do you step away from your circle? How do you reinforce your boundaries? Especially when you're experiencing good things in life, it's good to have a circle around you who's going to lift you up and celebrate with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been Leah. This is Jason. You have a great one.
Bye.